and good morning. This is part 2 on imputation. So, yesterday we started the idea from Romans chapter number 12, and we're talking about imputation. Somebody would say, well, what is imputation? I heard you talking about something being reckoned to our account. And it is used in financial terms. The language oftentimes is used in such a way to say, to take something and put on another person's account, to impute, or to put there. It can have the idea of of charging somebody with something, making somebody liable for something. So if I take something and put it on somebody's account, what does that mean? They become liable for that, don't they? So if I go to the store and I buy something with a credit card, they'll put the charge on my credit card bill, and now I am liable for that credit card bill. So they have imputed that charge to my account, if you will. However, in the biblical idea of imputation, it is used to designate any action or word or thing as actually reckoned to the person legally, in a legal way. It now belongs to that person. So in doctrinal language, the sin of Adam was imputed to all his descendants. It was put on their account. It was reckoned as theirs because they are now dealt with as guilty. That's what it means. And secondly, the flip side of that is that the righteousness of Christ is imputed to them that believe in him. So it's attributed to them as to be considered as their own. It is reckoned to them. It belongs to them now. It is now on their account, Christ's righteousness. And then the third way we looked at yesterday was that our sins are imputed to Christ. In other words, they are put onto his account. And our sins now belong to him. So like Adam's sins were imputed to us, Christ's righteousness was imputed to us, and our sins are now imputed to Christ. That's the answer, I guess you would say, to the demand of the law, the justice for our sins. In all these cases, the nature of imputation is the same. The nature of it. And by that, what I'm saying is exactly what it says in Romans chapter 5 and verse 12. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men. Why? For all have sinned. We have sinned, but that's the imputation, the fact of our guilt that's placed upon us is another thing. We aren't born and are not sinners until one day we sin. That's not the case. David tells us in the book of Psalms very clearly that it was in sin that his mother did conceive him, and that children come forth from the womb speaking lies. The picture is that we are born sinners. So we're not born these innocent little angels. I have a fellow I know in our church, he says that children are vipers in diapers, I believe is the way he describes it. But what we are, we're born sinners. We're not going along all nice and sweet, and one day we decide we're going to tell a lie, and then we become sinners. That's not how that works at all. So let me read to you Romans chapter 5, starting in verse number 12 through our final text, so you can get a full picture of it. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam's transgression. In other words, the people didn't sin the same way Adam did, but sin was in the world, death was in the world. He was the figure of him that was to come. But not as the offense, so also is the free gift. For if through the offense of one many be dead, much more the grace of God and the gift by grace, which is by one man, Jesus Christ, hath abounded unto many. And not as it was by one that sinned, so is the gift. For the judgment was by one to condemnation, but the free gift is of many offenses unto justification. We'll pick up right there tomorrow, and I hope this has been a help for you today.